question number 11. In question number 11, this is a conditional function. What is conditional function? Look at this function. The question asked, test the continuity of this function fx under this condition at the point x is equal to 0, 1. Now I am telling you about this function. Please tell me what is the value of f4. So first put this here x is equal to what? Here x is equal to 4. Is 4 less than equal to 0? No. Is 4 in between 0 1? No. Is 4 greater than equal to 1? Then certainly it is, your answer is yes. Then what is the value of f4? So you put 2 into 4 minus 1, that is 7. If someone will ask you what is the value of f minus 2, then you will put the value of x in this place as minus 2 is less than equal to 0. So look at here, its value is 2 into minus 2 plus 1, that result is minus 3. If someone will ask you what is the value of f3 by 4, then in which category it will come? 3 by 4 less than 0? No. 3 by 4 greater than equal to 1? No. Is 3 by 4 in between 0 1? Yes. So f3 by 4 is, what is value of fx? Fx is x. Means whatever you write here inside this, you just give the same answer here. So f3 by 4 is 3 by 4. This type of function is this. Now I will tell you the test of continuity of this function. Yes, remember I am telling you one very interesting thing. Somebody asked me, sir, 4 greater than equal to 0, 4 greater than equal to 1, what does it mean? 4 is greater than 1, it is correct. Is 4 equal to 1? No. Then why? Then 4 greater than equal to 1 is true or false? It is true or it is false. Many of the students ask me this question. Now you know the logic that if P, Q are two statements and P or Q, then if P is true, Q is true, then result is true. If P is true, Q is false, answer is false. If P is false, Q is true. Sorry. It is true. If P is false, Q is true. It is true. If P is false, Q is false, then it is false. I will give you one example to remember this. Suppose your father is telling you to bring a pen or a pencil. P stands for pen. To bring a pen. Q stands for to bring a pencil. Then what is this? This is, your father is telling you, bring a pen or a pencil. If you will bring a pen and a pencil, if you will bring pencil, both, then it's correct. If you bring the pen but not the pencil, then also it is correct, because your father is telling to bring a pen or a pencil. If you will not bring pen but you are bringing a pencil, then it is also correct. If you are not bringing both, then it's false, naturally. Similarly, here P 4 greater than equal to 1. So read it properly. 4 greater than or equal to. That means 4 greater than 1, it is my P. 4 equal to 1, it is my Q. 4 greater than equal to 1, it is my P or Q. Then tell me, 4 greater than 1, it is true or false? True. 4 equal to 1, it is false. So 4 greater than or equal to 1, one is true, another is false. Then the answer is what? True. So 4 greater than equal to 1 is true. And very interesting thing, ये बात क्या है कि महाभारत के युद्ध में कृष्ण ने मना किया था सुदर्शन को कोई अस्त्र नहीं पकड़ेंगे, लेकिन at the time of war he just took this logic table. By this logic table he able to murder all the Maharathis, 7 Maharathis by this truth table. P or Q, P and Q, P and conditional Q, P by conditional Q, and such and such. This is the logic, and this is the magic, and that is also the tragic for Kurukshetra. And I will tell you on my future videos about it. Let us here come to my point. My aim to find now look at number 11. In number 11, the question asks about to find the test of continuity at x is equal to 0 and 1, and it is a conditional function, less greater condition, at x is equal to 0. At x is equal to 0, first we have to find left hand limit. Limit x tends to 0 minus of fx. X tends to 0 minus means what? X is slightly less than 0. When it is slightly less than 0, we will take fx is equal to what? It is 2x plus 1. Look at here. I can put the value of 0 directly here. 2 into 0 plus 1. 2 into 0 plus 1. Answer is 1. As there is no modulus function, no bracket function, so we can put the value directly. Next, right hand limit. Right hand limit, limit x tends to 0 plus of fx is equal to limit x tends to 0 plus. What is this 0 plus? Means x is slightly greater than 0. Then it will not come to this part. It will come on this part, because when x greater than 0 plus, it is in between 0 1. So here it is 0. And you put 0 here, you will get 0 answer. So what is the functional value? Functional value means f0. That is the value of the function at x is equal to 0. Value of the function is what? It is 2x plus 1. When x is equal to 0, put 2 into 0 plus 1. Since LHL, RHL, functional value are not equal at x is equal to 0. So the function is discontinuous. Now we have to test at x is equal to 1. At x is equal to 1, what is the left hand limit? Limit x tends to 1 minus fx is equal to limit x tends to 1 minus. Look at here, x tends to 1 minus, then it is slightly less than, x is slightly less than 1. So put here, which function you will take? This one or this one or this one? First or second or third? When x is slightly less than 1, then it must come to this category, because the value of x here 0 to 1. So it is what? X. Now if you put 1 here, the result is what? Now right hand limit. Limit x tends to 1 plus fx is equal to limit x tends to 1 plus. That means x is slightly more than 1. Then we will take the function in place of fx, we will write 2x minus 1. As there is no problem, there is no mod, no bracket, nothing is there. So we can put this value directly. So value is what? 2 into 1 minus 1, 1. What is a functional value? Functional value is f1, because we have to find the left hand limit, right hand limit at x is equal to 1. So functional value also at x is equal to 1. But the value of the function when x is equal to 1. So here fx is what? Here fx is 2x minus 1. Why I am taking fx is 2x minus 1? Because it is written this function is 2x minus 1 when x greater than 1 or x is equal to 1. Here x is equal to 1. So I am taking fx is equal to 2x minus 1. So result x is equal to 1. So result 2 into 1 minus 1 is 1. Look at here. Here the left hand limit 1, right hand limit 1, and the functional value is 1. So the function is continuous at x is equal to 1. Okay. You can write the function is continuous at x is equal to 1. Now I am telling you about the problem fx is equal to sine pi bracket x by 2. And we have to test the continuity at x is equal to 1. Once in exam, I have seen a boy is writing like this: sine pi bracket x by 2. Certainly this is not this. So you mark it here. It is this, it is this. These two are very different from each other. Now, you have to test continuity at x is equal to 1. Left hand limit. Left hand limit of which point? At x is equal to 0. Naturally, left hand limit x tends to 0 minus of fx is equal to limit x tends to 0 minus. In place of fx, we have to write sine pi bracket x by 2. You cannot put direct x is equal to here because it is a bracket function. So put sine pi 0 minus by 2 here. Here the function. So what is the value of 0 minus? 0 minus means, look at the picture here. Here it is 0, it is 1, it is 2, it is greatest integer function. I am telling 0, 1, 2, minus 1. When you put a cycle ball, small ball here, then it will come to which whole? It will just come to the whole minus 1. So it becomes what? Sine pi, and this becomes minus 1 by 2. Means it is sine minus pi by 2. Sine minus pi by 2 minus sine pi by 2 as sine minus theta is equal to minus sine theta is equal to minus 1. Here left hand limit is minus 1. Tell me what will be the right hand limit? Limit x tends to 0 plus of fx. Here no condition, only function is this much. Only function is this. Then what? Tell me limit x tends to 0 plus. In place of fx you have to write sine pi bracket x by 2, which is equal to sine pi 0 plus bracket by 2. What is the value of 0 plus bracket? If we will put a cycle ball here, then it will just come to the whole point 0. So it becomes sine pi 0 into 0 by 2 into. It is sine 0 is equal to 0. Here it is what? 0. Left hand limit minus 1. Right hand limit 0. So functional value you have to find. Functional value what? f0. You put 0 here. Sine pi bracket 0 by 2. That is sine pi. If you will put a 0 here inside it, what you will get? Suppose what you will get here if you will put 0? It will become 0 by 2. So it is sine 0. So sine 0 is what? 0. Here, since LHL, RHL, FV are not equal to each other, so the function is discontinuous at x is equal to 0. The function is discontinuous at x is equal to 0. Now look at this function. It is here fx is gx minus 1, gx minus g1 by x minus 1. Here fx, here it is a function, here inside it is also a function. First we have to put the value of gx, value of g1, then only we proceed. What is fx? Here fx is equal to gx minus g1 by x minus 1, where we have to test at x is equal to 1, where gx is equal to x minus 1 modulus. Then tell me what is g1? If we put x in 1 here, then it is 1 minus 1 modulus. This is 0 modulus, it is 0. Then tell me what is fx? Fx is equal to gx. In place of gx, you have to write x minus 1 modulus minus g1. g1 means 0 by x minus 1. That is fx is equal to x minus 1 modulus by x minus 1. This is your fx, and test continuity. Testing of continuity at x is equal to 1. Let us observe what is the left hand limit. Limit x tends to 1 minus of fx, which is equal to limit x tends to 1 minus, what is fx? X minus 1 modulus by x minus 1. Look at here. When x tends to 1 minus, it is less than 1. X minus 1 less than 0. If x minus 1 less than 0, it is not the bracket function, it is modulus function. I am telling you previously, when I have already told you, bracket of modulus of anything is that thing when that thing is greater than equal to 0, minus of that thing when that thing less than 0. So x minus 1 modulus is here minus of x minus 1. So I am writing here limit x tends to 1 minus of x minus 1 by x minus 1, and the result is what? Minus 1. This is left hand limit. What is the right hand limit? Right hand limit, limit x tends to 1 plus of fx, which is equal to limit x tends to 1 plus. What is fx? Fx is again x minus 1 modulus by x minus 1 is equal to limit x tends to 1 plus. Again x tends to 1 plus. X tends to 1 plus means x greater than 1. X greater than 1 means x minus 1 positive. X minus 1 positive means x minus 1 modulus is equal to x minus 1 is equal to x minus 1 by x minus 1. Answer is 1. Here the limit, left hand limit is what? Minus 1. Here the right hand limit is what? 1. What is the functional value? Functional value is f1. f1 means here fx is this. What is f1? Is equal to 1 minus 1 modulus by 1 minus 1. 0 by 0. 0 by 0, it is undefined. Don't think 0 by 0 is 0. Don't think 0 by 0 is infinite. Only 0 by 0 is undefined. Why 0 by 0 is undefined? You should remember. Suppose 10 by 2. You are telling 5 because 2 into 5 is 10. 0 by 0 is 1 because 0 into 1 0. 0 by 0 is also 2. Why? 0 into 2 is equal to 0. 0 by 0 can also one can tell it 3, because 0 into 3 is equal to 0. Here look at it. 0 by 0, 0 by 0, 0 by 0. All left sides are equal. Then can you say 1 is equal to 2 is equal to 3? It is not. It is impossible. So 0 by 0 is treated as undefined. 0 by 0 is treated as undefined. Hence, the function is not continuous since LHL, RHL and FB are not equal, so the function is discontinuous. Okay. Here it is different approach problem, that is problem number 14. A function fx continuous. A function fx is continuous at x is equal to a. Means what? This implies limit x tends to a plus of fx is equal to limit x tends to a minus of fx is equal to fa. It is a different approach problem. So look at here. What do you mean by x tends to a plus? It implies x is a plus a slight thing. X tends to a minus means x is equal to a minus h. And what is that h? Suppose I am telling x tends to 2 plus. Then tell me, this implies x is equal to what? 2 plus h. Then what type of h this? Suppose I am telling 0.001. Another boy is telling minus 0.001. So if I will take this value, h is equal to minus 0.001 and I put it here, then it will not more than 2. It will less than 2. So in this case it is not possible. Here it is possible. If x tends to 2 minus implies x is equal to 2 minus h. Again suppose I am telling 0.003, h is minus 0.003. If I will take this h, then what will happen? Now it will become 2 minus 0.3. That means 2.003, which is not less than 2, which is more than 2. So in both these cases, h is a slight, h is a positive quantity, small positive quantity. That is this and this. That means x tends to a plus or x tends to a minus. This implies in both cases this h must be a 0 positive value. Means it is a very small quantity. So if it is very small quantity, then look at here. This becomes what? Limit. In place of x tends to a plus, I can write h tends to 0 plus. And in place of x, for x tends to a plus, x is what? A plus h, a plus h, f a plus h. Limit again. X tends to a minus. In place of a x, what I will write? I will write a minus h. And that h tends to what? Tends to 0 plus. And it is equal to fa. Now, our question is to find limit h tends to 0 plus half f a plus h plus f a minus h, which is equal to limit h tends to 0 plus half. F, I am taking this half outside, then it becomes half. Limit h tends to 0 plus, and this limit is for this f a plus h plus. Also this limit is for this limit h tends to 0 plus f a minus h. Tell me, limit h tends to 0 plus f a plus h is what? F a. limit x tends to 0 plus fa minus h is fa is this is fa plus fa. This is 2fa by 2 that is equal to f. Here it is a different problem, number 5. Here the function is sin x by sin x. For x not equal to a, and when x is equal to a, it is 1 by a. And it is in this question, it is given that the function is continuous. Already the function is continuous. But the question is, for what value of a, the function is continuous. For a is equal to suppose 2, is it continuous? For a is equal to 5, is it continuous? For what value of a, this function is continuous. We will apply the same formula. A function is continuous at x is equal to 0 if limit x tends to 0 of fx is equal to f0. Then we will apply what? Why we are applying this formula? Definition 2, because no bracket, no modulus, no less greater condition is here. So we will directly apply this. Sin ax by sin x is equal to f0. What is f0? It is 1 by a. Now, limit x tends to 0. By the chapter, by class 11, the chapter of limit, we know sin ax by ax into x by sin x into a is equal to 1 by a. What is this? Sin jitna by utna. Here sin jitna by sin utna. मतलब a cancel, x cancel, sin x in sin ax by sin x is written in this form. Now what will come outside? A will come outside. A into limit sin ax by ax. This ax tends to 0. A into limit x tends to 0. Sin ax by ax, x tends to 0. X tends to 0, मतलब x tends to 0 is same as ax tends to. If you multiply a, then you multiply a. X tends to 0 is also same as ax tends to 0 into limit x tends to 0. X by sin x is equal to 1 by a. This implies a into, what is this? Sin jitna by utna, utna tends to 0, 1. Sin jatiki by sin setiki, setiki tends to 0, 1 is equal to 1 by a. This implies a square is equal to 1. This implies a is equal to plus or minus 1. So here, for a is equal to 1, the function is continuous. For a is equal to minus 1, the function is continuous. If you will put x is equal to 2, then the function will not continuous. Okay? Next, number 16. Look at this question. Here fx is ax square plus b. Ax square plus b for x less than 1. 1 when x is equal to 1. 2ax minus b for x greater than 1. I am extremely sorry, I have not written this line, and now I am writing the function. It is given. If the function fx is continuous at x is equal to 1, then you find what is the value of a and what is the value of b. Here it is less greater condition. So we have to apply formula. We know a function is continuous at x is equal to 1 if limit x tends to 1 plus of fx is equal to limit x tends to 1 minus fx is equal to f1. This is called as what? A right hand limit, and this is called as left hand limit, and this is your functional value. This implies limit x tends to 1 plus. What is the value of fx? When x is greater than 1, you have to put 2ax minus b. 2ax minus b. When limit x tends to 1 minus, what is left hand limit? When x less than 1, it is ax square plus b. And what is the functional value? When x is equal to 1, it is given it is 1. This implies, now put x is equal to 1 here. It is 2a minus b. Put x is equal to 1 here. A plus b. Now 2a minus b is equal to 1. A plus b 1. 2a minus b 1. A plus b is equal to 1. Now add. 3a is equal to 2. A is equal to 2 by 3. And if you will put here, you will get b is equal to 1 by 3. So, for a is equal to 2 by 3 and b is equal to 1 by 3, the function f(x) is continuous at x is equal to 1.